of how he acted on Twitter. He had a big social media following, actually. He was one of the more active retired wrestlers on social media. I don't think it was him that was actually activating the account, sending out those messages, but still very, very entertaining. And I think that's really kind of helped him find a bit of a newer audience, a more modern audience. So this one kind of hits, I think, quite hard. Quite often when you've got those legends of the past that pass away, there'll be a lot of people that won't have heard of them, or they might have heard of them, but they wouldn't know much about them. And as I said, I think Iron Sheik's large, certainly on Twitter, presence means that this one feels a bit more, I don't want to say significant, but a bit more impactful. Certainly for someone that was around in the 70s and early 80s. He was around later than that, but to be honest, when you're talking about the Iron Sheik, you're talking about the late 70s, you're talking about the early 80s. I think by the time we get into kind of like the mid-late 90s, early 90s, like he's pretty much done at that point. He'd been training and working as an amateur wrestler a lot, and I think his body had just took a lot of punishment. So yeah, he was someone that tried to get into the Iran Olympic team in, I think it was 68, and then ended up coming over and working with the United States Wrestling Olympic team. And so he was like an assistant coach, and actually he was legit. I mean, one of the most famous stories about the Sheik, and I don't know if this was ever confirmed, but obviously everyone knows that he is the person that dropped the belt to Hulk Hogan. He is the person Hogan beat to really launch WrestleMania. Well, in a way, WrestleMania. That is kind of true, actually. If you think about it, not only Hulkamania, but WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is very much built on Hulkamania, and Hogan needed to get the title, beat someone, a horrible heel, to really launch him, and it was the Iron Sheik that Hogan beats. So if you think about Hulk Hogan in the 80s, it's it's quite complicated, because you've obviously got Hogan going off and doing Rocky 3. You've got him then going to the AWA. That's where Hulkamania really is started, but it doesn't really explode and become the global phenomenon until he gets back to WWE at the time. And when he comes back in, he comes in with a lot of momentum. People know who he is. But he beats the Sheik very soon after rejoining WWE. This is in 84, and it's him beating the Sheik that launches Hulkamania, which then allows that ball to roll, which then gets us to 1985, just a year later, and that is where we feel confident enough that we can now launch WrestleMania. But you can point at Hogan coming in. You can point at that match when he beats the Iron Sheik and gets the title. You can point that as being seriously significant moments, which then the momentum builds, gets us to 1985, and it gets us to the first WrestleMania. So, the Iron Sheik is someone that will always be remembered, always be spoken about. Certainly when you're talking about the history of WWE, you're talking about someone very important. He didn't have like the strongest of careers. He's not someone that had multiple championships, and he's not someone that's going to be remembered as a Rock or a Stone Cold or a Roman Reigns. But he was a very, very strong character, maybe a bit controversially so, certainly then, and more so by today's standards, because obviously he was anti-American. He was all about Iran. He was the horrible heel that everyone wanted to see get beat. Like, he was coming in, running down America, and even though he'd helped the American Wrestling Olympic team, which obviously was kept quiet, right? That was all, don't tell anyone. Even though, he got on with all the people in the back. I mean, there's the famous story about him and Hacksaw Jim Duggan driving down the road, having done drugs. I don't know if it was cannabis. I think it was just cannabis. It might have been, I can't remember if it was cocaine, but either way, they'd done some drugs, and they get pulled over. And the police obviously bust them, and the office is not so worried about the drugs, right? They're not really too fussed about that. Obviously not brilliant, but they're not so worried about that. The bigger problem back then, right? And this, by today's standards, it's mental. But the bigger problem back then was that Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who was Mr. America, was driving in the same car as the Iron Sheik, who was Mr. Iran. And these two were meant to hate each other, right? I mean, in a way, it would be like Brock and Roman getting busted for smoking cannabis, and it gets into the newspapers and they were in the car together. I mean, even by today's standards, I think people would be like, oh man, that sucks. They're ruining kayfabe, blah, blah, blah. That's by today's standards. Can you imagine what it was like in the 80s? Can you imagine when there was no internet? There was a lot more ignorance around what this business was. And I don't say that as a negative, because I actually think that was an amazing time for wrestling. And I certainly believed what I saw. And back in the 80s, I think that if you took a poll of the audience, I think a good chunk of the audience believed what they saw. And so you can imagine how damaging that story was, and had potential to be as well. And so that was another thing he was involved with. But yeah, he was the dastardly heel. And I think what's amazing, and I don't think this is a stretch at all, right? But if WrestleMania had started 1 year earlier, just 1 year earlier, so rather than it start in 85, it starts in 84, I feel very, very confident that the main event would have been Hulk Hogan against the Iron Sheik. I think because I'm sure it's around about either late January or early February that the title change happens in 84. Now, if they had WrestleMania just, a month down the road, are you telling me they wouldn't have waited to have had Hogan go into WrestleMania as the challenger to try and bring down the evil Iron Sheik? Like, you wouldn't have just waited a month to have done it at that show. Of course you would. Of course you would. So this happens early in 1984, that Hogan beats the Sheik, certainly before when we would have a WrestleMania. So, WrestleMania is normally March, early April. I'm sure this was like late January, early February. I feel very, very confident that they would have just waited, had WrestleMania have been that year earlier, which means Iron Sheik against Hulk Hogan. It's a fun thing to think about. What would the main event of WrestleMania have been in 84? What would it have been in 83? What would it have been in 82? What would it have been in 81? And to actually go back and look at what was happening at that time and see what the feuds were. Where were we around that kind of February, March time? Who was the champion? What was the feud? What would the main event have been? Obviously, Bob Backlund would have main evented a lot of those 80, 81, 82 WrestleManias. But 84 would have been Iron Sheik against Hulk Hogan. But we just sadly didn't get that. It's another example of being just a bit before, isn't it? It's just another example of it being someone just a bit before that the explosion happened. This is why I feel so sorry for Bruno Sammartino, because he dedicated his life to wrestling. He dominated the 60s and largely the 70s. I think he was champ for 4 years of the 10 years in the 70s. So, I mean, he was still a massive force. He was bigger in the 60s, but came back and they put the belt on him. And, by the time we get into WrestleMania 1, he's running out to support his son. So, he's missed the boat in a way. He was there when it was a regional promotion, not this global promotion. And I feel the same is true of the Iron Sheik as well. I feel like the Iron Sheik just missed out, but he did get a taste of it, certainly got a taste of it, but his best years were behind him by that point. And obviously, he was involved with Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7. Of course, everyone remembers his cameo at the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 17, where he wins, which is really cool to think about, actually. He wins the gimmick Battle Royal at WrestleMania 17. And again, everyone knows he only won it because he couldn't go over the top rope. He wasn't able to take that bump and actually go down to the floor. So that's why he ended up winning it. But that's one of his final, I don't know, it might have been his actual final in-ring appearance, winning that Battle Royal at 17. So, look, he definitely got a taste of it. But as we said, his actual in-ring best years definitely just before WrestleMania, really kicks off. But, the famous story is that he was offered $100,000 by Vern Gagne, the guy that ran the AWA, which was basically the AEW of its day. Iron Sheik was given or offered $100,000 to break Hulk Hogan's leg in that match. Because if he broke his leg, he knew that Hogan would be out for a while. Hogan was the hottest thing in wrestling. There was a real war going on between the AWA and WWF. And so, as we said, that was very much like the AEW kind of war of its time. And Iron Sheik didn't do it. Iron Sheik was very loyal. He said that he'd been well treated, and he wasn't going to take that money. So he ends up putting Hogan over. But I don't think he appreciated. Well, he certainly didn't appreciate Hogan. He didn't like him, I think, as a person. Didn't like how he was presented, and he just didn't like him at all. Hence why. If you look at his Twitter feed, it's just a lot of Hulk Hogan is a jabroni. Hulk Hogan is a jabroni. I should have broke his leg. All this I could have broke his leg. I should have broke his leg. Hulk Hogan is a jabroni. All this kind of stuff. I make you humble. It's one of the. It was 81. It was 81. I certainly don't look at it as being I don't know. It's a weird one because he's probably the right age in it. I mean, if we're going to be realistic and honest, once you're getting into your mid to late 70s, you probably are looking at the average life expectancy of a man being about that age. So once you get into that kind of ballpark, then I think, you have to start thinking about the end is coming. And so 81 is a good age, but his impact on wrestling is undeniable. Honestly, I mean, he's one of my favorites when it comes to heels, just because he was so dedicated to it and he was so good at it as well. I mean, he really knew how to work that crowd. He really knew how to wind them up. They hated him. They hated him. He could generate heat like Dominic Mysterio. It's it's a shame. It's a shame that he's gone. It's a shame that It's a shame that I feel like we should have got more from him. We should have, brought him into the Performance Center, got some. I don't think he was in a great shape for a long time towards the end, though. But, could we have got some of that knowledge out of him? Should there have been more shoot interviews with him? Now that he's gone, I think you just feel that sense of, loss. I feel like, we've lost the opportunity to talk to him. We've lost the opportunity to get more knowledge out of him. We've lost the opportunity to kind of learn from him and everything. So I think that he was never going to return to the ring. And I, of course, feel sorry for his family. But as I said, it's all a bit weird because you do weigh it up with the fact that he was 81 as well. So, it's one of those, isn't it? He is an icon. He is a legend. His place in wrestling history is assured and guaranteed. But, it sucks. It does suck. Even though it's time, it still sucks, doesn't it? It just really sucks. Wrestle with Andy said, the first time I ever watched him was Colonel Mustafa. We didn't know at the time how big he was years before. That's true. I didn't know who he was at the time. It's funny because I'd got videos, and obviously he's around in the early kind of WrestleManias and whatever. And he features as the Iron Sheik going into some of those pay-per-views, but he's mid-card at best, if that, right? At that point. And so I had watched him as a kid and I was aware of him. But when I saw Colonel Mustafa, never made the connection, man. Even as a kid, I never thought that's the Iron Sheik. I just accepted that was Colonel Mustafa, and that was that. So not only did I not appreciate the fact that Colonel Mustafa had been WWE champion and all this kind of stuff, I never made the connection when I was young that was even the Iron Sheik, if I'm going to be perfectly brutally honest. So it was good. I mean, in a way, I do think it's a bit of a shame. I don't know why we didn't go with the Iron Sheik name at that point. That would be interesting. So when we get Sergeant Slaughter coming back to do the program with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 7, that's when it's Hogan against Slaughter. Slaughter had been Mr. America. He turned his back on America. Now he was an Iraqi sympathizer. Blah, blah, blah. Well, he doesn't come back alone. He's got General Adnan, and he's also got Colonel Mustafa. But I have no idea why Colonel Mustafa was just not called the Iron Sheik. That's a piece of information I don't have. So I would be interested to find out why that changed. Because having him be the Iron Sheik at that point, I don't know, unless there was some stigma around the Iron Sheik or something. I don't know. But I've got to think the adults knew that it was the Iron Sheik. It was only because I was a kid that I didn't see it. But I agree. A bit strange, but Maria, shout out to you, said, how are you doing? The air quality in my town is crazy. We're about to go to the zoo. My main teacher said no zoo. I was mad. I'm sorry to hear about the air quality being bad where you are, my friends. I've heard that there's been wildfires and bits and bobs going on in certain places, so I hope everyone's doing well. In fact, I think one of the Iron Sheik's final messages was telling the wildfires to go F themselves or something. So I know he had a pop at the wildfires before he sadly passed away. But yeah, stay safe. As I've said before, do what you've got to do at the moment to stay safe. I mean, you don't want to be inhaling too much bad stuff, do you? So if you have to stay in for a bit, if there can be no zoo, I'm sure there'll be zoo further down the road. I'm sure there'll be zoo tomorrow. There's always tomorrow for the zoo. Days, what do you think about Ospreay Omega 2 official for Forbidden Door? I think it's good. It's a match that I would like to see. It's not a match that I'm like crazy for, just because I've seen it and it was amazing and it was brilliant, but I feel satisfied. So like seeing it again is, I don't know, it's cool. I'll watch it. It's going to be amazing. But I really felt like I came away like from the first one being like satisfied. The one that really grabs me more is Okada and Danielson. That one really, really grabs me. But don't get me wrong. I mean, as a co-main event, Omega against Ospreay, I'll take that all day long. So, for me, Danielson against Okada has to be main event. That's the one that I'm so much more invested in. You're talking about two of the greatest of this generation. Like, if that doesn't main event, I just won't be able to get my head around it. So, Danielson against Okada main events that show. And then co-main event being the rematch between Ospreay and Omega. Good. I want to see it. Yep. I think it's good. X Mulder said a framed 36 print of Adam Cole autographed, including an inked handprint of Cole's right hand in the middle, limited to only 25 copies, is $9,999. Who's selling that? I mean, is that for charity? First of all, if it's for charity, I could understand it. Second of all, if it's from some sort of eBay thing, then I would say, just like many things are, well, not everything, but many things on eBay can be overpriced, because they just hope that someone rich will just buy it, that won't think about it. There's a lot of sports stars that have got serious money, people that might, be into their wrestling that have got like well paying jobs that just, 10 grand to them don't mean nothing. So, they're kind of going for a different sort of demographic from you and me. And so if it was that, I could kind of understand it. But if it's not for charity and it's on the AEW website, I wouldn't even know where to begin as to why they've done that. Mitchell, shout out to you, says, I don't watch much soccer, but everywhere is blowing up. Messi is coming to the MLS. His contract details are insane. He'll get a portion of Apple TV subs. Is this some breaking news, is it, that Messi is coming to MLS? Because I have not seen this news. 4 hours ago, Messi confirms move to Inter Miami. Messi said he will go to Inter Miami an hour ago. Messi to join David Beckham's Inter Miami, right? Yeah, okay. Fabrizio Romano says 7 hours ago, Messi to Inter Miami. Here we go. The decision has been made. It'll be announced by Leo in the next hours. Messi will play in MLS. No more chances for Barcelona or Al Hilal, despite trying to make it happen. Well, I mean, that's amazing for MLS, isn't it? That is brilliant for MLS. Messi is obviously not the force that he was. We have seen a decline, if you will. I think if you was talking about who are the best players in the world right now, you'd probably talking about Haaland, probably talking about Mbappe. You might be talking about De Bruyne. There's a few that would be in the running. Messi, I feel, is still very much in the conversation, but I just don't think I think he's just that next kind of level below now, rather than before it was definitely Messi or Ronaldo. Now he's just kind of slipped that little bit, and now, it's natural. I mean, Ronaldo has slipped as well, clearly. And so, he's no longer in that kind of top part of the conversation. So Ronaldo's ended up going to Saudi Arabia. Messi now looks like he's going to go to MLS. But make no mistake about it, you are still talking about one of the best players in the world. We saw what he could do at the World Cup, for example, and that was only at the end of last year. And so him coming into MLS and showcasing what skills he has in that league, I mean, I can only imagine he's going to smash it. Absolutely smash it. And the excitement for people to go and see him. I mean, I suppose in a way, is it a bit like when Jordan went to the Washington, was it Wizards? Bullets? I don't know what they were called at that point. But, his kind of Chicago Bulls run was over. And then he ends up going off to Washington. I feel like this is probably the same with Messi. His Chicago Bulls run has come to an end. And now this is him going into his kind of going to Washington, nearly literally, phase. So, into Miami. I mean, he's going to have Miami, such a beautiful place as well. So he can have just the best time. I'm sure his family will have the best time. Beautiful weather. Good. I mean, a league that he can light up. A country that's going to just be besotted with him. It's a really good move for him. It's a good move for MLS. David Beckham, I would imagine, is just weeping tears of joy. Brilliant. I hadn't heard that, Mitchell. I hadn't heard that, and that's very exciting news for him. James said, congrats to West Ham winning the Europa Conference League. Do you know what? I tuned into that in the 87th minute because I saw it was live on YouTube. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is tonight. Where are we with it? Clicked it on 87th minute, 1-1. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty good time to join, actually, because no one's won. I've skipped 87 minutes of stuff, which, to be honest, up until this point, at that exact moment was largely irrelevant. It was 1-1. They were drawing. And I got to right at the end of it. And I was like, in a way, that might be my new favorite way to watch football. And just catch the last 5 minutes, the bit, because if someone's winning 5-0, then you know the result. And if it's 1-1, then you've joined right at the drama. I suppose you could do the same with wrestling, kind of largely skip the first 5 minutes. Most matches will go longer than 5 minutes. Just get to the final bit where you'll get like the fast-paced action stuff. And then you can get the result, and that's it. Listen, time's precious. So, I tuned in, and literally a couple of minutes later, West Ham scored. Place went bananas, and I was just, I timed it to a T. So they won 2-1. There was quite a bit of added on time, which was annoying, but timed it to a T. So, I did see them win that. And saw them going like bananas, the kids running on the pitch, dancing away and everything. So, congratulations to West Ham. Daniel said, do you think the MJF promo segment tonight has got open door for New Japan talent to confront him, as MJF's promo is most likely going to be about him needing a new challenger? Well, to be honest, I haven't heard any rumors, so I really can't say as to whether this is going to be an open door for someone from New Japan. I would imagine that it likely will, what with Forbidden Door being so close and being just round the corner. Am I right in saying, though, that at Forbidden Door last year, they actually had some AEW against AEW matches? I feel like they did. I feel like they did have some AEW against AEW matches. So I'm still open to the idea that that could be a possibility as well. So we'll have to see, won't we? I mean, I do have what we've got tonight lined up here. So this is what we've got lined up for tonight, and we should get some interesting stuff, to be honest, because we're going to hear from MJF, and as you've rightfully said, that feels like he's going to announce an open challenge or his next challenger, or call someone out, or someone's going to come out, someone will interrupt him, and we'll get a clear picture as to what's next for him. So that feels significant. Then we've got Tony Khan is going to announce, and I'm really pleased about this. He's going to announce another announcement. I don't know about you, but I was seriously concerned that this week might be the first week in a while where we don't get a Tony Khan announcement. And to be honest, like I struggled sleeping last night. I'm not going to tell you. I struggled sleeping last night because I thought to myself, what am I going to do without a Tony Khan announcement? And lo and behold, I think the Angels, they saw my tears, and I was greeted with this graphic, which tells me that Tony Khan will announce the first main event match of Collision. Now, all my prayers are answered. I'm super excited about it. In all fairness, I am actually excited about it because when I watch these shows, I am looking for talking points, right? I mean, I want to watch a show that's got some significance about it. I think in this day and age, we as fans of wrestling enjoy watching wrestling. But I think if a show is really going to be worthy of our time, something needs to take place that either really pushes the story forwards, we get a brand new exciting feuds, or we get a big announcement, or someone comes back, or there's a debut, or there's something, right? You really do need something to make the show feel like, yeah, that was worth watching, man. That was worth watching. And in all fairness to wrestling, I think it's done quite a good job recently. If you think we've had new belts being unveiled, new belt for Roman, we had a new championship unveiled as well. We obviously then had the Bloodline stuff with Jimmy and like Roman and all of that. We've had all these announcements regarding Collision. So we've had all of that as well. So these kind of things just make it feel, Baron Corbin on NXT. There's another example. Him arriving, didn't expect that. Oh my God, Corbin's in NXT. Might not be the biggest thing in the world. It doesn't need to be. But just give me something that makes it worth me tuning into the show. And in regards to this, we're going to find out the first main event. That really does feel like a talking point. That does feel like, I don't know, is he going to announce CM Punk in that match? Could it be that CM Punk's going to have a match and we're just going to go straight out the gate? It's got to be something big and tasty and major. Otherwise, why announce it, right? If he's going to announce Orange Cassidy against Powerhouse Hobbs or something like this, like that ain't going to cut the mustards. Like that's going to be flat. Okay. I know people like Orange Cassidy. I'm sure people like Powerhouse Hobbs, but that's going to be flat. Surely this is going to be that CM Punk's competing, or it's going to be like MJF's going to be defending his title, or it's going to be something big, right? So when that news drops, that's going to make it feel like, yeah, okay, this is worth watching. That is news that I would want to be aware of. So as much as we can have fun with it being another Tony announcement, I do appreciate that it does make this show a bit more exciting for me, because I do feel that whatever he's going to say, I definitely want to know. It's information I want to be aware of. No, I appreciate that. And the MJF segment makes me feel that way as well. Ricky Starks against Jay White. I mean, I really like both of these guys. I've said it before. I really like Ricky Starks. Used to watch him in NWA. I really like Jay White. I hoped he was going to go to WWE. So I'm into that. Chris Statlander against Anna Jay. No. Orange Cassidy against Swerve. I do like Swerve, in all fairness. And I do like Chris Statlander. But, I mean, if Anna Jay somehow got lost, you know what I mean? Like, she went in a car, put in the sat-nav thing, and somehow the car took her somewhere that wasn't the arena. I wouldn't be too upset about that, to be honest. I wouldn't be too upset about that. And actually, if I was booking the car, I would try to find one that had a 40 sat-nav. We've got Blackpool Combat Club against Chaos. And we've got Jack Perry and Hook taking on Preston, Vance, and Dralistico. So I don't know who Dralistico is, but he looks pretty funky, in all fairness. He looks very Lucha Underground. So, yeah, look, there's a bit of stuff there, and we'll see if they can deliver a good show. Wrestler Andy said the match is Sabu against QT Marshall. Well, that is a dream match, in all fairness. That is a dream match. I could see Orange Cassidy and Isaiah Cassidy future tag champion, says Miguel. James said CM Punk against Kenta for either Forbidden Door or Collision main event. That's what I would do. That would be pretty sick. GTS against, I don't know what Kenta used to call his. Did he call his the GTS as well? Don't know. GTS against GTS. GTS against OGTS. It's a finishing move joke. Daniel said, Fightful are reporting Bullet Club Gold are going to get new members imminently. Did you see that Jay White's CM Punk program could happen as Punk has taken a real liking to him and Juice? It's a great way forward, man. It's a great way forwards. I'm very excited about getting to see that match if it goes that way. And honestly, it just feels like a way of printing money. Alex Bliss Gamer said, your beliefs and ethics are absurd. Wrestling Escape Pub is amazing. Really appreciate that. Alex Bliss Gamer, thank you. Because honestly, like I already know that episodes won't get watched as much as I think it deserves to be watched. That's the Wrestling Escape Pod that aired today. Hand on my heart, I would say, is in my top 5 favorite episodes ever. I think I've never actually done it, but like I've said before, whenever I do, maybe not so much these live streams because we talk about like wrestling topics. So my brain is thinking more about what we're talking about, and I'm trying to find references. I'm trying to find, news articles, talk to you guys, whatever. So my brain isn't thinking like crack jokes, right? But when I'm on the Wrestling Escape Pod and, like that conversation just goes wherever it goes. My head is pretty much always just saying, okay, where's the joke? How do we make this funny? Like I'm just constantly trying to think about where's the entertainment? How do I make this funny? What can we do here that might be a little uncomfortable? What can we do here that might put the cat amongst the pigeons? And so I'm just constantly thinking that. And I've never done it. I've never gone back and actually counted like how many jokes or how many funny moments there are in episodes. But I would feel pretty good that tonight's was one of the highest because it just felt like it was a nice little bang, 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 bang. I really liked it. I edited it last night and I did find myself chuckling along quite a few times. So I was excited for people to see it. I know it's not largely very wrestling focused. We talk about insects and just mental stuff, right? But I do think the joke count is quite high. And I really enjoyed it. And it really got me thinking about how do I get episodes that good on a more regular basis? I don't know. I don't know if we need to like try and find a way of bringing people on like on a regular basis, filming it on the Tuesday and then uploading it on the Wednesday. I know it's not great that it's not live. I know it's better live. I get that. But I think people just need to work a little bit with me because we know that my Wi-Fi is not the brilliant or not the best because I'm in the middle of the countryside. So trying to zoom in 3 people and then put that into a like stream and then send that out all on my Wi-Fi it's just a recipe for disaster, to be honest. So if it means like recording on the Tuesday and then airing on the Wednesday, that might be a better way forwards. But I don't know, something to kick around. I was watching it, and I was laughing along again to it. So I really appreciate the fact that you enjoyed it as well. And big shout out to anyone that checks out the Wrestling Escape Pods. Airs either on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I mean, it was Wednesday this week, but normally it's live on a Tuesday. But yeah, if there was to be some sort of podcast awards and I had to enter an episode to try and, do well in it, there's a good chance this week's episode would be my submission. I can hack into your channel like I do news channels, says Janelle of Earth. I can hack some into your channel like I do news channels. Janelle, shout out to you. Hope you're well. Troma said, Iron Sheik had one of the best theme entrances ever. The song is on my playlist. Do you know what, actually, just whilst we're on the Iron Sheik, I was on Wikipedia because I actually wanted to find out when he was in the Olympics. Because that was a bit, I knew he'd been part of the American Olympic team, but I didn't quite know how long he'd been there, what years he was there. So I saw that was like, I forgot again now, actually. I think 70. I've got it written down. Tag team championship. Here we go. He became the assistant coach of 2 US Olympic squads in the 70s. So he was part of the Olympic squads, I believe, in 72 and 7. I mean, guessing the other one must have been 76 then. It doesn't list the 76 one, but either way. I went on to click on that. And there was a fact on here that I saw. Now, you have to remember this is Wikipedia. I did not know this. And I'm not sure it's true, right? Just because it's Wikipedia. If it is true, I think this fact is amazing, right? It says that in 1979, the Iron Sheik caught the eye of the World Wrestling Federation, where he made his debut and won the first ever Battle Royal in Madison Square Garden. That is quite the fact, if that is true. So not only do we know that the first ever Battle Royal in Madison Square Garden, right? Not the first ever Battle Royal ever, but I mean, Madison Square Garden is such an important venue. It is the spiritual home of WWE. Well, that would suggest the first ever Battle Royal was 1979 in Madison Square Garden. Never knew that, right? And it would also suggest the first winner was the Iron Sheik. Never knew that. Never knew that. If someone had said when was the first Battle Royal in Madison Square Garden, I would have guessed it was probably going back to maybe the 60s. And I would have said that it was probably going to be someone that, we didn't know. Like a Haystacks Calhoun or someone or a Gorilla Monsoon, maybe. Maybe someone along those lines when Gorilla was wrestling. The fact that apparently it was 1979 and the first winner was the Iron Sheik. If that is true, and I do need to try and look into that a bit more, but if that is true, then that is a fact that I hope my brain will remember. The thing is, there's so much information and facts and things that get thrown at you about wrestling. Certainly when you're digging into bits and bobs, I just don't have the memory that will remember it. I get exposed to these things, but I just don't think I have the best memories. So yeah, that's one that I really hope stays in there as long as it's true. But there's every chance you could ask me in 12 months' time and I would be like, I have no idea. Who won the first ever Battle Royal at Madison Square Garden? I don't know. How do you think I would ever know that? That could be my response in 12 months. It's obvious you don't talk much about wrestling, said James. Oh, hang on. It's obvious you don't talk much wrestling. The clue is in the name, Wrestling Escape. That is true. That is my excuse, to be honest. It's the Wrestling Escape Pod, where we escape from wrestling. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like so E is obviously a good friend of Triple T's, and she's been on the podcast before. That last episode was so fun. And I thought, again, from the kind of number of jokes, the hit rate of like trying to find funny things to talk about, I felt like the topics that she was bringing up were things that we could really have fun with. You know, she was talking about those spooky porcelain dolls, right? I mean, come on, that's just a gift to someone like me. I can go to town on stuff like that. And then, like, you know, she was going into like other bits and bobs. So I knew the last episode had been really funny. And I knew that if we got her back on, there was a chance that we could have like a lot of fun again. But the downside is I know equally she doesn't watch wrestling. So talking to her about wrestling, it's going to be really hard to find the humor there unless we had done a bit of a showing her some pictures and asking her to name the wrestlers. That did cross my mind as to something that we could have done. Ask someone that doesn't watch wrestling, what do you think this wrestler is called? What do you think that wrestler is called? And hope that we can find some of the humor from some of the answers that would have been given. So that did cross my mind as to like to go down that road. And who knows? I mean, listen, we could always bring her back and look to do that in the future. But I think what this week's episode definitely did do for me is the number of jokes that were in there, or the number of like fun moments that are in there, I think are higher than a normal episode. And it really got me thinking, like, how do I do this again? How do I, you know, when you feel like you've done something good and you're like, how do I do that again? How do I do that again? So that's kind of where it's got my head at. So, yeah, I'm just really pleased people watched it and enjoyed it. And we'll see that if we can keep that momentum going. But have you ever watched the Impractical Jokers? They've got an episode with MJF and Chris Jericho, says William. I've seen the Impractical Jokers. I'm not crazy about the Impractical Jokers. I'm not against the Impractical Jokers, but I know they're a bit of like a phenomenon over in America. I went into a few shops in America and I saw there was like loads of Impractical Jokers merch, and it sort of felt like the show had been like this real big success. I mean, Impractical Jokers to me is a show which it is on TV over here, not on any of the major channels, though. It's one of those shows that's a little bit hidden away. You got to go looking for it. But when you watch it, you enjoy it, and you're like, yeah, this is good. I like that. But that would be about as far as it would go for me. Whereas, I don't know. I don't know if America like just really went crazy on them. Like maybe Jackass would be maybe a comparison. Different kind of show, but I'm talking about impact. I'm talking about, you know, I went to America and I was seeing mugs and I was seeing keychains and I was seeing t-shirts and I was seeing things in shops for Impractical Jokers. And I was quite surprised actually as to how big that show seemingly had gotten. So I like it. I will quite happily sit down and watch it if it's on TV, but I don't know that I would necessarily go and like search for it. I feel like there's so many prank, daring sort of things on YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that. Like, it just, that whole genre feels a bit saturated to me. But I would say they do it amongst the best, and what they do is more PG in regards to like they don't necessarily make others feel too uncomfortable. There's a guy actually that's getting a bit of press at the moment called Mizzy. Don't know if you've seen this dude. He's on TikTok and he's been doing things like he went up to this woman. He was like, I really like your dog. And he picked it up, ran off with it. Now he did give it back, but for that, can you imagine being that woman in that moment where some kid has come along and picked up your dog and run away? That feeling of, even if it's only for a moment, thinking that you might not see your dog again and there's just not anything you can do about it. Like, that to me is horrific. And he's done other things as well, where he's like gone into someone's house, just walked into their house because the door was open and he's just walked in and there was like a family and kids in there and stuff. And, you know, even though he's not done anything bad, like on a permanent level, still, like, this is sadly where society seems to have got to, with people thinking that that's the kind of thing that they should do to be popular and famous and stuff like that. So like, YouTube used to have this problem, and YouTube, I think, did a decent job of trying to clean that up. But like, there was a lot of those kinds of channels on YouTube back in the day. I hated them. Just think they're just scum. They are just scum. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're doing stuff that other people don't do because it's not a good thing to do, but they go out and do it. And of course, because no one else is doing it, it gets them attention, and they love the attention. And man, I just think they're scum. I really think they're scum. And I saw that this Mizzy guy as well was now trying to spin it as being him, like, taking down the media, and he's like starting a movement, and he's trying to show how the media are like vilifying him and all this kind of stuff. It's just a joke, man. It's just a joke. This kid has been rumbled. He doesn't know what else to do at the moment, and so as a result, he's now trying to take this attention the media are giving him because of the bad things he's done, and he's trying to turn it into some sort of anti-media, anti-establishment type thing. And it's just, the sad thing is it might work. The sad thing is that the people that watch him and enjoy him might get behind his cause, but I just think he's scum, man. So, that's the dark side of that kind of Impractical Jokers thing for me. But they don't do anything like that. And so I got respect for those guys. But you just got to be careful, man. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for clicks and views and likes and engagement and all this kind of stuff, but not in a way that I think is constructive or helpful to the world, but in ways that are just, I just keep thinking about walking into someone's house that's got kids. That must have been terrifying. But, oh God, that old woman, seeing a dog be picked up and run off with, Someone, it's been said before, but like, if you do that to the wrong person, he ain't doing that to a big guy. He ain't doing it to a big guy with a dog. He's doing it to an old little lady that's got a dog, right? But if he had done it to the wrong person, he might not be here anymore, He might not be here because there's people that are just not going to tolerate that kind of stuff. Dates, do you remember when Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik were both the manager of the Sultan at the same time? That was weird, wasn't it? That was weird. And the whole Sultan thing was weird as well. The whole thing was just weird. I feel like the way they use the Iron Sheik and Bob Backlund, they're really good comparisons, actually. Because if you think about the fact that they were both around in the late 70s, early 80s, and they just, their careers largely missed out on the explosion of WrestleMania and everything. I would say that Bob Backlund went away and then came back and had that heel run, and that was really good. I feel like the Iron Sheik stuck around and then was sort of just used in the mid-card. He didn't really get that big run at the top again. He sort of did with Colonel Mustafa, but that was just a secondary character to Sergeant Slaughter, not like Bob Backlund, who was the major focus. And yeah, it just sort of feels like really weird how they used. I think Vince respected them, and I think he wanted to, use them because of what they had done for the business, and I think he had respect for them. But I don't think those people that were around before he bought the company in 83, I really think some of those people, he didn't know how to use them. He didn't really know what to do with them. He just wanted to bring in fresh faces and bring in, your Roddy Pipers, bring in your Hogan's, bring in your Ricky Steamboats, your Jake the Snakes, your Mr. Perfects, your Demolition, your Legion of Doom, your Earthquakes, your blah 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 blah. But yeah, you're kind of old timers, like your I don't even know what he did with Pedro Morales. Actually, that's another little gap I've got. I don't know when Pedro Morales' career wrapped up. I think he was still around when Vince took over. But again, like Pedro Morales, Bob Backlund, Iron Sheik, like those sort of names, he just didn't seem to quite know what to do. They didn't really fit in. They were a bit. I think the problem was they were a bit too old school. They were a bit too old school. When he did get Bob Backlund back, though, Bob finally agreed to do the heel thing, and Vince went for it. And I gotta say, it worked very well, and they did get a nice little run out of it. Shame they couldn't have kept that momentum going. Again, he got some out of it, but he didn't get he didn't keep him around. It wasn't like a 5-year run or anything. So and then you've got the Iron Sheik that's just sort of meddling in the mid card, and let's put him as manager along with Bob for the Sultan, and you get that kind of stuff. And it's just, I don't know. I think the old school people, he just really did struggle. And to be truthful, I think they struggled with him because it was such a change. It was so different. You are going from, ladies and gentlemen, the next contest is a scheduled match for one fall, and coming down to the ring now, no music or anything. It's match. You might get the occasional promo at ringside, but it's wrestling, it's grappling, it's fighting, it can be a bit slow at times, but it's people trying to get the better of the other person, and that's largely it. And there are some storylines in there, of course, and there are promos at ringside and whatever. But I mean, the explosion of color and sounds, and just how cartoonish everything became, and how the action in the ring changed, and the presentation changed, and you've got green screens and all this sort of stuff. Just everything became bigger, more colorful, like sound, vision, all this kind of stuff. And I think the old timers just could not adapt to that. And I think Vince couldn't quite adapt to the old timers and the way that they did things. WWE went through such a seismic change. It's weird because we've been talking about a lot what was the biggest moment in the history of WWE. And, you can say, well, when it started, right? You can talk about the early 60s. I feel like the biggest moment, the one that I think a lot of people would probably agree with, is when Vince takes over around 83 and he starts bringing in that change. I feel like that's the big talking point. Obviously, a lot of people would say last year with the fact that Triple H took over, or you could say this year, or you could say it's about to happen. I mean, to be honest, that could be the truth. When Endeavor take over, how will that impact the business? Because I would say what Triple H has done hasn't really been drastically different to what we had before. It's just tighter. It's tighter. It's got less silliness. And it's a bit more palatable. I think that's a good way of wording it. It's a bit more palatable. It's easy to watch. It's got some good action. It's got good stories. You don't have as much silliness. And all in all, I think the shows are that bit stronger, but it's not drastically different. Right? We haven't changed the look and the feel of the shows. We haven't changed the name of the shows. We haven't changed the roster and ripped a load of people out. We haven't, you know what I mean? Largely, we've just sort of carried on with what we were doing, but we're just doing it slightly tighter now. Whereas I think if you used to compare, before Vince and after Vince, that was a seismic change. And it'll be interesting to know if we get another seismic change at the end of this year when Endeavor take over. Because when Endeavor take over, they can do whatever they want. Obviously, Vince is still going to be in charge, so you would largely think that we will just continue doing what we're doing. So I'm not expecting massive change. Not really expecting any change. I think what I am expecting is for them to be looking at sponsorship opportunities. I think we could definitely see a lot more adverts on barricades, even stuff, sponsorships on the side of the ring, maybe even on the ring mats. Titantrons as wrestlers are coming out, mascots being around that we saw at WrestleMania. I think they're going to look at opportunities as to where they can bring in more sponsorship money, more advertising. And I think they'll look at that without ruining the product. But I think the product largely will stay the same. So for me, the most seismic change was probably going from before Vince and after Vince. But, a really interesting conversation because I think the point Andy made there about Bob Backlund, Iron Sheik being the managers of the Sultan is an example of us not quite knowing what to do with those old timers in this more new generation world. Hulkamania started when he won the title at MSG, says AB Jobson. LA Dork Knight said the biggest moment in WWE history is when it changed its name. Get ready for change, says Kian. Maybe you're right. Maybe there will be some change coming. I think there will be something. I can't see Endeavor taking over and this new setup taking over and nothing changing. I mean, that's hard to visualize, isn't it? So I think there'll be something. But hopefully whatever it is beneficial and works for the fans. But clearly they're going to want it to work for them. So I am expecting there to be more adverts. When Vince Sr. passed away, that was a seismic change, says AB Jobson. Miguel said, who is the hottest female WWE wrestler? Don't know. It depends on the temperature. Big Time Back said, the overabundance of rematches has definitely been narrowed down. Remember when we were getting Brawling Brutes New Day for 3 months every week? That is true. That's true. James said, Sultan was a terrible gimmick. Thank Effie became Rikishi. That's true. Research with Thomas Flynn said, Days, appreciate the live tonight. Need some wrestling. It's been rough nights. I'm sorry to hear that, but, well, wrestling on the way. And as I said earlier, I don't think this card looks the worst, to be honest. We've got Jungle Hook against Preston Vance and Relistico. I don't know. I really don't know about how that's going to play out. I'm sure it'll be a fun match. Blackpool Combat Club against Chaos. Ricky Starks against Jay White. Legit excited for that. Hearing from MJF, I think that could be a really good segment. Tony Khan announcing first main event match. Bound to be newsworthy. Chris Statlander against Anna Jay. As I said, not bothered. I think Chris Statlander's going to win that. It's probably the right match for her, in honesty, because Statlander's only just got the title. She needs opponents that she can beat. I suppose in that regard, Anna Jay serves a purpose of, just helping to put some people over. And then you've got Orange Cassidy against Swerve, which, I enjoy watching Swerve. And I think Orange Cassidy has built up some respect for what he can do in ring. We've definitely spent a long time focusing on his in-ring abilities over recent times, more than him just standing at ringside, putting his hands in his pockets, whatever. So, I'm sure that could be fun as well. So, I think this card looks all right. I think it looks all right. I don't know that it's a card that's necessarily going to bring in, $1 million. I don't know if that's, ideally it's what we want. But I think if they can just hold what they did last week, they'd be over the moon. Because I think wasn't last week like 900 and some thousands, which, good number, to be honest, good number. Anything that's going to show a little bit of growth, a little bit of movement, steps in the right direction. Was it 1 million? No. Does it need to go straight to 1 million? No. Can you just show a bit of growth? Can you just show a bit of steps in the right direction? That'll do. So, we'll see what tonight has got for us, as we are just 20-odd seconds away now, according to this. Let's go. You are dedicated. Pre-show, wrestling shows, appreciate it. Thomas, shout out to you, buds. LA Dort Night, hello, hope you're well. Said Days is going to cover an EastEnders omnibus if it's on the same time as an AEW pay-per-view. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint EastEnders fans, but I can confirm that I would go with the AEW pay-per-view over an EastEnders omnibus. Now, if it was Coronation Street. Right, here we go. We are at the Broadmoor World Arena, Colorado Springs. And I think we're probably going to start with Orange Cassidy. Quite a few people in the crowd. Someone's got a Bullet Club flag. Lots of excitement, anticipation as Orange Cassidy makes his way down to the ring. He's got a new shirt. He's got an orange shirt, orange t-shirt with a white outline of his face. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy is 14-0. He is on a 23-match singles winning streak. So, Orange Cassidy against Swerve. Making his way down and chucks the bag in the ring, rolls into the ring. Up the gents. There's a sign that said, if Swerve loses, we riot. If Swerve loses, we riot. Might have to hold him to that. But they're 10 minutes from me. I had no idea they were coming, says Will. El Sean said, are you doing a watch-along for Collision? No, we can't because Saturday is just the worst day. So on Saturdays, for example, you've got WWE pay-per-views once a month. So that would mean once a month we wouldn't be able to watch Collision anyway, because we're obviously going to do the WWE pay-per-view. But then you've got things like UFC pay-per-views as well, which, you know, we've got a nice community for that, which we've built up because Saturdays were always a free day. And so, you know, and I'm a fan of UFC, so, you know, once a month I'll want to watch that. So that would sort of mean that twice a month we could probably watch Collision. But then we do also have plenty of occasional big boxing matches which come up as well. So I think it would not be unfair to say that we might be able to watch Collision once a month. And then I would be missing UFC in order to do that. So you kind of get to the point where you're like, if I can't commit to it every week, who's going to want to tune in to a watch along once in a blue moon? Like, unless you're going to do it every single week, either do it or don't do it. And, you know, I've got to the point where it's like, well, I can't do it, can I? So, you know, had it have been on a Thursday, we would have done it. Had it have been on, say, I don't know, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Friday, but it had been away from SmackDown or whatever, and it was, you know, hopefully going to be a big show with, you know, CM Punk, all of those people, then we would have looked to have done it. But, or Sunday, had it been on a Sunday, we could have looked to have done it. Sunday would have been a great day, actually. Nothing goes on a Sunday, so it could have been a Sunday. But no! Gonna do it on the busiest day of the week. So I do think that's going to be a real problem for them. Right, we are underway as Orange Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets against the ropes as Swerve gets flipped over. Swerve lands on his feet and he looks a bit frustrated. Thank God Orange Cassidy is opening the show again, said Hagen Dazes. Joshua, shout out to you, buds. Appreciate the kind words. El Sean said, thanks. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to miss any of the coverage. Yeah, I get it, but I totally get it. It's one that I wish we could do. I know a lot of people are under the impression that we hate AEW and we want it to fail and all this stuff, and that's just not true. There's a lot about AEW that I like watching, and we would have done Double or Nothing, but it was on at the exact same time as NXT, and this one on Saturday is going to be on at the same time as other big events. So it's, you know, it's just really bad timing at times. I don't know. I mean, I understand they can't choose the time slot, but I if they could have got Sunday, that would have been perfect. Would have been perfect. Could you imagine a weekly Sunday show where we could, you know, kick off the week or round off the week with a good wrestling show? That would have been brilliant. Sunday's a quiet day. People are still off, though. People are still off work. Kids are still off school. But I don't know. Maybe there's like a sports reason as to why you wouldn't do that. Maybe it's like, I don't know, Sunday night football, Sunday night baseball. Maybe there's something like that at play. But I do think Sunday would have just been the better day. Orange Cassidy on his feet and looking for a stretch. Taz says he's a highly skilled competitor, and right now, Swerve, the arm is being bent back here. Swerve trying to get over to the ropes. But, he picks up Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy flips Swerve over. Against the ropes goes Cassidy. Round the houses into a DDT, but couldn't get it. Swerve charges at Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy pulls down that top rope. Sign again said if Swerve loses, we riot. Swerve leaning against the railings, leaning against the barricade. Orange Cassidy comes out the ring. Double axe handle. Cassidy goes down. And into the barricade and railings goes Cassidy. Jay White to beat Ricky Starks in the main event tonight, said Bryson. Joshua said the NFL is on a Sunday and everyone knows NFL is king. Wow. Yep, that is true. That is true. That makes sense. As someone in the UK that doesn't watch NFL, that obviously it does not impact my world, but it impacts the world. So I can definitely understand that. Shots coming in by Swerve. Orange Cassidy is being hurled into the corner as back elbow connects there by Swerve, and Orange Cassidy goes down. So Swerve back in control. K-pop lover said New York is not a pretty city right now. The city is burnt under. I have not seen much news about this, you know. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's being reported. I just haven't seen much news about it. You know me, I love BBC. If I go to the BBC website, what are the top stories? I want to stop hate towards Meghan, Harry tells court. Dislodged mines a major concern after the Ukraine dam breach. West Ham win dramatic Europa League final. And the fourth story, millions advised to mask up due to wildfires. Millions in North America have been advised to wear N95 masks outdoor due to poor air quality levels sparked by intense wildfires in Canada. You Canadians, they always causing trouble. It's coming from Quebec, where 150 fires are burning. I mean, that must be some serious fires. I mean, that just on many levels can't be great for the environment. Area burned in Canada wildfires. 2023 has already beaten 2022. And it's beaten 2020 and 2019 and 2018 and 2016. Not good news at all, is it? Right, I think we're going to... both guys are down on the outside as we're going to go to commercial break. So it's the fourth story on the BBC website. The top story, I think we can all agree, is way more important, right? I'm sorry if you're in North America and you're struggling to breathe, right? But the top story here in the UK is I want to stop hate towards Meghan, Harry tells court. And that is very much what we are focused on right now. Orange Cassidy collides into Swerve on the outsides. And again, he grabs Swerve, hurls him into that barricade, into that railing. What number are we up to? 6. And back into the ring goes Swerve. The count is so slow. The 10 count, I mean, I don't think it's done in seconds. I think it's done in minutes. I think you've got like 10 minutes to get back into the ring. The way the ref counts. Is it Bryce? Is that his name? It's like, 1. 2. Swerve comes crashing down on Cassidy. Then we are back in the ring. Let's go, Swerve, says Bill. Godfather's host said, Days, inhale that Iron Sheik for the Iron Sheik. R.I.P. Best mustache. One of the best heels. Not so much with Sergeant Slaughter. Best in-ring boots. Iron Sheik. I got big brown spots in undies. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, his boots are amazing, aren't they? I don't know if I'm guessing they did inspire Xavier Woods, because he had those boots for, I don't think he does now, but for a long time he had the kind of curl at the end of his boots. I don't know if that was in tribute to the Iron Sheik. Did he? I wonder, actually. Do you know, I've never thought about this, but Hogan obviously was overheard in that leaked video of making racist comments, right? And his career has been, rightfully affected by that. I wonder if Xavier Woods, and it's just speculation, I've never seen this reported, but I wonder if he wore those boots as a way of making his feelings known in a subliminal way about how he feels about Hulk Hogan. Because one of the biggest anti-Hulk Hogan voices on social media and in the world was the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik was constantly calling out Hogan, calling him a jabroni. And I never thought about it. But Xavier Woods wearing Iron Sheik's boots. I don't know if that's a callback. I don't think he was wearing that when he first came in. Could that have been conspiracy theory? Just a little way of him like being anti-Hogan and actually taking an anti-Hogan stance. Xavier, if you're watching, let me know. Right, we've got Orange Cassidy trying to get back up to his feet. We're at 15 minutes into this. Don't forget, guys. Come on, don't forget. Tony Khan is going to announce the first main event match of AEW Collision. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? Days just took a dump on his American fans. No, my friends, the BBC took a dump on our American friends because it's them that have prioritized the story order on their website. Not me. Not me. And kick out by Swerve. Round the back, Orange Cassidy. DDT. And going for the cover. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Swerve. Shoulder up by Swerve. Crowd are making some noise for this. Crowd are into this. Could Swerve do it? Swerve would be a good champion, in all fairness. He'd be a good champion. I'd be down for Swerve doing it. You can sign me up for Swerve doing this. Orange Cassidy in the corner, taking some deep breaths. Definitely having to dig deep as Swerve goes over, punches Orange Cassidy in the midsection. He's got Orange Cassidy. Oh! Death Valley Driver by Swerve on the edge of the ring. Do you notice how they always do that move on the edge of the ring? Whenever we're on the edge of the ring, a Death Valley Driver is very much like a go-to move. Death Valley Driver as Swerve is climbing up. He's on that middle rope. Orange Cassidy is sat waiting. He's trying to scooch away. He's doing some scooching. He's scooching away. like a dog that's been the toilet and just needs to wipe his backside. He's scooched his way all down the edge of the ring. Now we've got him delivering a big boot into Swerve. Another kick coming in there as Swerve is backed up against the steps. Cassidy charging over. Goes for a DDT to the outside. Swerve driven. I mean, that is dangerous, isn't it? In all fairness, that is dangerous. Any sort of DDT move is dangerous, but going from the ring steps to the outsides. And another one in ring as well. Swerve gets his shoulder up. Fun little match, this. Fun little match. Can't argue with the fact that this is a fun little contest. Orange on his feet. Charging over. Whoa! Flip Swerve over too. Wow. Orange Cassidy flips over Swerve. That was nice. But couldn't get it. Got some outside interference. Main event for Collision will be Julia Hart against Chris Statlander, said Jim. Oof. 1, 2, Cassidy. Oh, still a 2. Still a 2. Gotta give it props. Gotta give it props. Crowd are really into it. It's a real close contest. Orange Cassidy up on his feet. This is awesome, chant. You can see some marks on the side of Cassidy. Suicide Dive tries to grab a hold of Swerve. Looks for another DDT. Suplex to the outside by Swerve. Orange Cassidy goes into the side of the ring. And Orange Cassidy gets chucked back into the ring. Swerve going in straight after him. AEW chants. It's a fun match. It is a fun match. Swerve charging over. Goes for the kick to the back of the head. Orange Cassidy moves out the way. Crucifix roll-up pin. Swerve kicks out. Ooh, and the kick to the side of the head. Swerve is in control. Swerve goes up top. Orange Cassidy is dazed. Swerve. The double stomp lands. 1, 2. And the kick out by Orange Cassidy. That really felt like it was going to be the end of his title reign as Swerve came down from the top, landing on Orange Cassidy. Swerve now picking up Cassidy. But reversal. Reverse back to get. He's got a handful of tights. 1, 2. Orange gets it. Orange gets it. It was a real scramble at the end as they were rolling each other up, grabbing a hold of tights. Swerve grabbed a handful of Orange Cassidy's, but he pulled it that hard that they kind of flipped over. And then we got Orange Cassidy grabbing a hold of Swerve's. No, we don't need this. We don't need this beatdown after. Well, you've just seen a really good contest. That was a really good contest. Okay, hang on. Lights have gone out. Lights have gone out. Is this going to be someone good? Lights have gone out. House of Black. See, this to me takes away the momentum of what we just saw. We just saw a really good match. We should be talking about that match. It's Darby and Sting. I don't care. We just saw a really good match. Really good match. We should have just been talking about how great that match was. But instead, you put all this extra rubbish on top of it. And, you know, you've got Sting, you got Darby, you got people attacking, and all this kind of stuff. Just Just let that breathe, man. Just let that match breathe. That match was really enjoyable. Didn't need all this stuff afterwards. Good match, though. Good match. What a shock. Another afterbirth, said Travis. It's set up for the match. Yeah, there's so many different ways you can set up for a match. You didn't need to do that. There's no part of me that thinks that is a good idea. You've just had a great match. Something that I think has been really entertaining. Great back and forth. Some really close falls at the end. And for me, that's where you just draw the line then. You just... And you go to commercial break and everyone goes, wow, that was so good. Whereas now, part of that conversation is going to be, okay, so do you think it's going to be Sting and Darby, and who do you think they're going to face? Is it going to be a 6-person? Like, all of a sudden now you're talking about, you see, this can be a bit of the problem with AEW. Rather than just stopping and breathing and allowing moments to, take effect and allowing moments to breathe, we've got to get to the next thing. We've got to get to the next thing. What's next? Okay, we've done that now. What now? What's next? It's all so quick. Right? Come on, God. Yeah, that match is over. What now? No, just let it breathe. You've just done something really good. Let's enjoy it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about our favorite moments of it. Come on. He needs to do yoga. That's what Tony needs to do. He needs to do yoga. He needs to find a way of just, I don't know, he needs to realign his chi. That's what he needs to do. Namaste. We need some of that. We need to get Tyler Bate over there. He's into all of that stuff, isn't he? Into that meditation and everything. Okay, so really good match. Really good. That's going to be my takeaway from that first bit. Really wasn't like massively into it at the start, but wow, it really got somewhere. So that was the first thing. That took 23 minutes of the show, Now we've got the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, making his way out. Helped lead the Blackpool Combat Club to the Anarchy in the Arena victory over the Elites. Oh, okay. Wow. Footage of Okada. Here's a video package of Danielson talking about Okada. You want to wrestle Bryan Danielson? Let's see who is the real best in the world, said Okada. Wonder how you book this match. Like, who agrees to go over? How do you... I like that line. When you step into the ring with me, you are stepping into the desert. There ain't gonna be no rain. Smile on the face of Danielson. They call him a once-in-a-lifetime performer. I am a once-in-a-lifetime performer, says Danielson. I am better than he ever was. It's good. I'm so excited for that match. Right, we're going to hear from MJF tonight. I don't know what's coming up next. That's what I'm waiting for. Oh, there we go. Blackpool Combat Club against Chaos coming up next as we go to commercial break. Right, let's change the thing on screen. There we go. Right, we've gone to commercial. Never ask a woman her age. Never ask a man their salary. Never ask Tony Khan if he's on crack. Magic mushrooms will make it better, says John. I would love to see Naito interrupt MJF and challenge him at Forbidden Door. That would be flipping amazing. That would be amazing. That would be my perfect scenario. Naito is my personal favorite in New Japan. I love his journey. It is a bit of a shame. I mean, he's kind of like the guy that doesn't care, but gets in there and does what he needs to do. He's a bit like this is going to sound bad. I was going to say the credible Orange Cassidy. In regards to, like, do you remember when he won the titles and he was literally dragging the belts behind him? That wasn't so much because he didn't care. That was because he just didn't respect the New Japan office and the way that he'd been treated. But he is a very laid back individual. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. And I feel actually where we are with Orange Cassidy now is so much better than where we were. I feel like he's moved a bit more towards the kind of Naito way of when the bell goes. He's really, I mean, that match that we saw at the start was really good, right? It's still got him putting his hands in his pockets, and there's still things in there that I would lose and change. I really like him being, like, you know, quiet and outside of the ring. But I think once the bell sounds, you got to go, right? You got to go. You got to put in the bangers. Got to put in the work. And we are seeing that more and more and more. We are seeing that. But we do still get the little kicks. We do still get the hands in the pockets and wrestling with the hands in the pockets. We do still get those kind of moments, which don't really appeal to me personally. But, yeah, God, Naito is just, he's got that kind of laid back mentality. He's really cool as well. And there's a lot of people that are, like, really into Orange Cassidy, think he's really cool. This is why I think the comparison's not the worst. But as we said, Naito, such a great in-ring competitor. And I would love to see him against MJF. I think that would be perfect. So, yeah, you've got my vote there, James. You've got my vote. Put me down for one of those. That card, I mean, if we're going to get Danielson against... This is what Forbidden Door... I think people wanted Forbidden Door to be, and because of injuries last year, we couldn't quite get it. Not their fault. It was injuries, so, you know, they couldn't do anything about it. But as long as everyone's going to stay healthy this time around, the Forbidden Door we get this time, I really believe will be better, even better than what happened last year. I seem to remember last year's show being quite good, but I do remember the big thing being like, oh, it's just not quite the card we were hoping for because of the injuries. Well, this year, we should get the card, the dream card that we were hoping for. Okay, so we've got Chaos. So, Best Friends and, is that Rocky Romero? Blackpool Combat Club going to be making their way out. We got Danielson on commentary. Here come Blackpool Combat Club. I really like AEW, but there's times where I feel bored watching nothing but great matches and title defenses. We need something in between the matches, says Big Time Baxter. Rivy said Iron Sheik has passed away at the age of 81. Yes, I agree. Okay, here we go. We've got Moxley making his way out through the crowd along with Claudio. Wheeler Yuta. These are the men that I spend most time around. So Danielson said, become the men that you spend the most time around. And he said, these are the men that I choose to spend my time around. It's a good line. Good line as we're seeing Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta making their way down to the ring. A chair gets thrown at Moxley. We are underway. Wheeler Yuta gets kicked in the midsection. Shots to the back of the heads. Now we're going to see a superplex maybe, but seemingly underway. BCC getting jumped before they could even really get through the crowds. Okay, bell has how has the bell sounded? How has the bell sounded? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is meant to be like 3-on-3, and 2 of the people got jumped before the match started, and they were down on the outside. The other one just got planted in the ring, and then the bell sounded. It's one of those things that WWE would do as well, right? So this is not AEW specific. But I am surprised that we didn't try to get everyone like in the ring and like ask them, are you good to go? Are you good to compete? We do see that quite a bit. But either way, all 6 guys are back up on their feet and we are underway. Wheeler Yuta, though, gets thrown into the railing. This thing breaking down again as we've got plenty of activity on the outside of the ring. Taylor goes over the top. Chuck Taylor lands on Claudio. That's a normal start, says Mangy. William said, I'm a bit bored watching AEW because they go so fast. They hide the botches. Look at how many on the roster are currently and have gotten injured. Behind the curtain, wrestlers get injured a lot. It's fair. It's fair. Shot coming in there by Chuck Taylor. William, I just wanted to say a thank you to you because I did see I was on the Wrestling Escape Pods and I saw that you was on there posting comments and having fun with things that were being said, and it was cool. So I appreciate the support. It was noted. I just tweeted about a free wrestling streaming service. Okay, let's have a little look at this. Some people might be interested in this. I'd imagine. A lot of people will. What's this? Free pro wrestling streaming service. A new pro wrestling streaming platform is set to launch. It's Remix. Let's have a look. It's from Cultaholic. It's been announced that WREMIX Remix, a new free ad-supported platform, will launch on June 19th. The service will feature independent wrestling promotions upon launch, including Defy, PC Dub, and Enjoy Wrestling. What the hell is this? Enjoy, I've never heard of them. Enjoy Wrestling. It feels like wrestling for like, I don't know, vegans. Enjoy Wrestling. It's all a bit too happy for me, that is. Oh, what are you doing on Saturday night? Are you going to come down to Enjoy Wrestling? What do you mean? There's some wrestling on. Yeah. Enjoy Wrestling. Well, I do like it. No, it's called Enjoy Wrestling. I've never heard of them. I'm sure they're great. This will bring over 500 hours of content to the platform and will provide fans with unlimited access to their favorite matches. Defy Your Nightmare Show will air on June 22nd. It features a main event of Nick Wayne versus Kenta for the Defy Championship. There is a wealth of pro wrestling subscription streaming services already in existence. Several promotions have their own streaming services. That's true. WWE, Impact, and Ring of Honor. Okay, that's very interesting, James. To be honest, if Beyond was on there, I'd be interested in watching Beyond. I don't know. I might be able to watch Beyond somewhere anyway. But yeah, hopefully Beyond finds its way on there. That's the one that we talk about probably the most on Wrestling Escape Pod because that's the one in the Boston area with Little Mean Kathleen and Becca and Love Doug and all of those guys. We've spoke about them so much that I would quite happily sit down and watch one of their shows now. But I don't know Defy or PC Dub or Enjoy. I certainly don't know Enjoy. Enjoy just seems like a wrestling promotion for people that don't like wrestling. Seems too nice. It's wrestling, but without the conflict. It's wrestling, but without the nastiness. Duck underneath by Wheeler Yuta and German suplex. Beyond is on IWTV, but you do have to pay a subscription, says James. Thank you. I don't really want to be getting into another subscription service. If it was one of, I could definitely pop it on in the background type thing. Duck underneath. Suplex. Moxley is chucked down. Chop coming in. Shots coming in. He's getting backed up. Moxley here. Against the rope. Big kick there by Moxley. In comes Yuta, goes for clothesline. Over he goes. Double axe handle there by Claudio. And Hurricanrana. Double knee strikes as Moxley goes down. So hanging Moxley on that top. Lovely drop kick. And Beretta collides into Moxley. Rocky Romero going for the pin. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. Danielson says, you're not going to beat Moxley with a cover like that. Okay, so Trent has got Moxley up as Rocky went for some sort of springboard, but Wheeler Yuta came round. Moxley's reversed. Moxley in trouble. Ooh! It was like a vertebraker. Vertebraker by Trent. I don't think it was. I think it's probably got a different name, but it certainly was similar. Tag. In comes Rocky. Kick to the midsection by Rocky. Over in the corner, around the houses, looking for some sort of like sliced breads. Down goes Moxley into an armbar. Armbar by Rocky Romero. So Rocky Romero has got an armbar applied. Moonsaults to the outside by Trent, but an uppercut by Claudio. Bulldog choke applied. Bulldog choke applied by Moxley. Now we've got Wheeler Yuta throwing in elbows to the side of Chuck Taylor's head. And tap, and that's the end of the match. It's a win for Blackpool Combat Club. Wheeler Yuta continuing to throw in these elbows. Wheeler Yuta just absolutely unloading on Chuck Taylor. Didn't stop throwing in those elbow strikes. It's a sign that says, all my homies hate Don Callis. Jay White will face MJF at Forbidden Door, said Richards. Those elbow shots never look great, says Scottish Nightmare. Why have they got Moxley in the mid-card, says Thomas. He should be challenging for the championship. I don't know quite what we're doing with Blackpool Combat Club at the moment. I'm guessing they're still in a feud with the Elites. Well, we're actually going to go to the Elite now. Okay, here's the Young Bucks. Great match. We didn't see it, but it sounded great. Okay, they said next week we're at Washington for Dynamite. We're here to make a challenge. Can you do it without Brian? Can you do it without Takeshita? Challenge accepted, said Danielson. So I'm guessing that's what, a 6-man tag match? Okay. They're called the Hung Bucks. Is that what they're called now? Because Hangman's with them. The Hung Bucks. The Hung Bucks. Blackpool Combat Club against the Hung Bucks next week then. MJF speaks next. MJF speaks next. Come on, Naito. Come on, Naito. Right, okay, MJF next. That feels big. MJF. Boom. The Hung Bucks. Hungman. There's no need to feel down, I said. Hungman. The Hung Bucks. Right, seriously, a woman at the NBA Finals, like 5th row center, not even paying attention, is just texting on her phone. She probably got dragged along, in all fairness. How's that game? How's that going? Who's winning? What's the latest in the NBA Finals, please? Thank you. This is the main event. I wish we got Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., but Danielson against Okada is going to be a banger, says James. I swear to God, I don't watch AEW to complain, but man, they make it easy, says Paul. Hung Bucks come out swinging. The Hung Bucks. The Hung Raiders. Here comes the best part of the show. MJF, says Travis. Let's go. The Hung Evolution. Is Michael Jordan doing well? Yeah, is Michael Jordan doing well? Please respond. And Larry Bird, please respond. And Magic Johnson. I seriously could not name one player in the final. It's probably not anything to be proud of, is it? Not one player. It's just started, but the Nugs will win. No, I meant like who's winning in the series. That's the Enjoy Wrestling theme song that you were singing. Charles says the Hung Bucks. LOL. It's going to be Great O'Khan. MJ is in NASCAR now. Okay. God bless him. God bless him. FTR against Gorillas of Destiny at Forbidden Door. Haven't they gone? It's tied 1-1, says Eric. Tense. Don't think the Nuggets have ever won, have they? Don't think they've ever won, so I'm rooting for them. Who they against? Miami? Yeah. Miami have got enough going for them, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? Great weather. So I'm going to go with... I hope Denver Nuggets do it. I love Nuggets as well. Okay, we've got a video package. Just looking at Will Ospreay. One-winged angel. Kenny Omega, remember me. I am back for revenge. United States Championship. Good. Isn't it funny how, like, this show I'm quite excited for, but it largely involves people that aren't usually on the AEW roster. Okay, here's MJF. Tinker, 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 tinker. 200-day reign as AEW World Champion. Not bad, is it? 200 days. Okay, what's he gonna say? Is someone gonna interrupt? But my music says MJF. Boos for MJF. Hungbucks are a bit cocky, a bit arrogant. You drug addicts, keep your mouth shut. When I was told... There's not a more boring place in the world. I'm talking, it's not that complicated. Okay, so there's boos for MJF as he's trying to talk at the moment. There's no competition. Okay. You suck, chance. Your mother swallows. No one is on the level of the devil. You know me, mama. Adam Cole, baby. Well, that's not Naito. Could he be the one to beat him, though? Could he be the one to beat him? It's a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, Adam Cole to me is still that NXT guy. So, and Adam Cole making his way down to the ring with MJF in there. Boom. Right. It's like NXT against AEW, said Scottish Nightmare. Yeah, does feel that way. All In should be renamed Balls Deep, says William. AEW Balls Deep. Okay, MJF cuts Adam Cole's music. Okay, so Adam in the ring. Can't hear what they're chanting. What are they chanting? Okay. If it isn't Adam Cole, baby. Finally, some worthy competition, says MJF. I'm a big fan of you. He says, I'm holding the mic. What are we doing here? As people keep trying to talk over the top of him. Okay. I like that. He says, when CM Punk left me, I thought my fandom was over, but I turned my TV on, I flicked through the channels, and I found a little show called Ring of Honor. So he's putting him over, man. He's like, you know, Adam Cole's just like waiting for the twist, waiting for the swerve, waiting for the dig. Hollywood guy, shout out to you, buds. I was instantly hooked. When I started training, I got as much of your tape as I could get my hands on. I watched you go to every top promotion and become the hottest free agent in the world. You were so good. You became the best champion in the history of that promotion, and that's undisputed. I believe talking about NXT. He didn't mention NXT. Hollywood guy said, did you hear about the Iron Sheik? Rumor has it he's passed away. Yeah, it's been confirmed by WWE, sadly. We touched on it at the start. It's really sad news. It's not really much more you can say. Is the 81, though? Good innings. So MJF said, I knew one day you would make the jump. MJF versus Adam Cole. But then this guy showed up. Here we go. Adam Cole goes, here we go. What happened to you? You used to be the Panama Playboy. Now you're the Panama Game Boy. He says you hide from the sun looking like a virgin golem. Brit's leaving the house with your balls in her purse. Didn't you used to have the body and the physique of a world champion? No offense. You're so frail, you make crack whores jealous. Rumor is Britt cheated on Adam while he was injured with Christian. Supposedly it happened after an AEW event. No way do I believe that. No way do I believe that. Oh, he talks a lot, doesn't he? But do you think they will turn MJF face in the future, says Christopher? He might have a run as a face, but to be honest, he's such a heel. And I think he's a natural heel as well. From what I've heard, what's been said is he pretty much is this person. Greatest dog collar match of all time. Greatest Iron Man match of all time. The best professional wrestler on God's green earth, says MJF. What makes you think you're going to be any different? Adam Cole's been in there about 10 minutes. You should have just brought a mic down with him. I heard a rumor that you jumped over here because a certain guy at Titan Towers didn't think you had top guy potential. I don't think that's true, actually. I think he did. I think he tried to convince him to stay. MJF said, when I heard that, I thought, my God, the old guy's lost his marbles. But now that I'm standing eye to eye with you, do you know what I think? I think Vince was right. See, this doesn't land because... Well, it doesn't land for me because it's just not true. What the hell is going on? The name Vince McMahon drop, says Janari. Was that the best you've got, says Adam Cole. Instead, you come across like a toxic social media troll. I'm going to brush over the Brit part because I'm pretty sure she could beat the hell out of you. Yes. This is good. See, that's actually witty. I think, you know, I've just sat and listened to MJF talk, and it is true. A lot of the stuff he says are just insults. I don't even think, you know, you've got a body that a crack whore would be jealous of. It's just an insult, right? I don't find that witty. Adam Cole, in the space of just a couple of moments, has said, what's your obsession with relationships? First it was Danielson, now it's me and Britt. He said, I know that your fiance Upton left you, but... And you know, that's an actual little personal... And it took him all of, like, 30 seconds to get there. Another shot fired by Adam Cole as well. And Cole doing well on the mic here. We are nothing alike. Those boys and girls back there, they respect me. For 15 years, I've traveled the globe. As a wrestler, as a man, they respect me. You, on the other hand. I swear on my life, there's not a single person back there that respects you. They think you're selfish. They think you can... Lazy. That you dare the bare minimum. No one respects you. Would that bother MJF? Would that bother him? Does he need respect? No respect champed by the crowds. Put it out there. Oh, you don't respect me? How about I cry into all my money about it? That's a lot of tough talk coming from Keith Lee's manager. If you was a real champion, you would tell me to shut my mouth and you would fight me. I like the Keith Lee manager line from MJF. If you remember anything, remember this. You won't fight me because I'm better than you. And they know it. And he points at the crowd, goes to walk away. MJF said, I'll wrestle you any day of the week and I will beat your ass. Attaboy, champ. Looks like we've got ourselves a match. Could this be the first match of Collision? Could this be, Collision title match? Adam Cole, MJF? I mean, what I would say is it was long. There was a lot of what MJF that was saying was just... I've said it before. I don't know. I can't tell if he is someone that they say, go out there and kill 10 minutes, right? Go and talk for 10 minutes. Like, people love listening to you talk. Throw in your little lines that you do, but say whatever you need to say. Because a lot of that is him talking literally about, I grew up watching you. I didn't know if I still wanted to watch wrestling when CM Punk left, and I turn on my channel and then I see Ring of Honor. And then when I started wrestling, I wanted to get as much tape. I mean, it is literally him telling us a story, right? So he's kind of going off about all of that. So he's talking and talking and talking and talking. And I can't quite tell if they ask him to fill that time or if he requires that time to actually get to the points he wants to make. Is he able to just go bang, 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 bang? Or does he have to kind of do all of that builds as well? I don't know. Because it might be they say to him, we need you to fill about 15 minutes. Can you go out there and talk for 15 minutes? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And so he goes out there and does that. And I mean, look, the end result is a very intriguing match, I think. I think MJF talked and talked and talked, but once Adam Cole started firing back and we got a few, shots being fired then between them, and I like the Keith Lee manager line from MJF. Once we got that, I think for me, we got to a place where I was like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good, actually. It's pretty good. Like, I do want to see that match. So I would say that was a decent segment. I think that there will be some criticisms that it was a bit long, but I think it was a satisfying segment. I certainly felt like I watched something worth watching, and it made me want to see the match. And in all fairness, is that not what a promo should do? At the end of the day, should the promo not result in you wanting to see the match? And I would say that promo definitely achieved that. So I would say very good. We ate up a lot of time. It was very interesting. I mean, I think we ate up about 15 minutes, maybe a bit longer. And it was good. All the Vince's lines about Cole were false, though. Yeah. I mean, this is where I do think that MJF is just a little blown out of proportion. I think people are really blinded by how well he is at his delivery And I think that he goes further with insults than I think we've seen people go, certainly on TV before. You know, this is so not what we do in WWE. We would never go that far. Talking about you've got a body a crack whore would be jealous of. We would never say that in WWE. We would never say that. So this is scratching a bit of an itch that I don't think is being satisfied by the WWE products. But I do agree with what Adam Cole said. He was like, is that all you've got? You basically just come across like a Twitter troll. Like, with some of the lines that you come out with, they're not witty. They're just you know, throwaway insults. And I do agree with him on that. But then the stuff where he tried to make it a bit personal didn't quite land because of, as you know, has been pointed out, that's not true. You know, Vince tried to sit down with Adam Cole, tried to get him to stay. But, you know, MJF wanted to tell a different narrative. And to be honest, I mean, listen, MJF lying, I suppose that's in character, isn't it? Why would MJF want to tell the truth? Why, you know, even if there are people that know that that's lies, what does it bother him? You know, lying and saying something that, you know, a lot of fans might not know the truth behind, spinning the narrative and whatever. Yeah, that's he can do that. Maybe that's just, rather than looking at it as being like, well, it's just lies, it doesn't work. Maybe the way that I should look at it is like, well, that's what MJF would do. That's his character. He is a liar. He is a heel. He is someone that will manipulate the truth if it works to his benefit. So, but there was nothing disastrous in there. There was nothing that at all that made me be like, this is a bad segment or made me cringe or anything like that. And as I said, the end result is it made me want to see that match. So, gotta take it as a dub, man. Gotta take it as a dub. Right, Jungle Hook is taking on Preston and Dralistico. Oh. Why is Preston and Dralistico in lowercase? Let me put them into... they've earned capitals. Preston and Dralistico. There we go. Right, we are underway then. Dralistico with a kick to Jungle Boy. We've got Hook on the outside with Preston. Knee strike coming in there by Hook. And again, so this is a tornado tag match. And we've got a table being introduced. We've got a trash can being put over the head of Preston. Now Hook with a chair. Throwing the chair at Preston. Preston goes down. Is that Dralistico's mask has been ripped? Dralistico's mask has been torn and like a big chunk of it here is missing. So it looks like a lot of Dralistico's face can actually be seen. Shot coming in. And again. The one side of the mask is all right. The other side is fairly exposed. We've got a table set up. Now Preston's managed to get a chain. Another big chop coming in. These two exchanging blows. There's a woman in the front row that's grimacing away. Forearm strike there by Hook. Hook and Preston fighting in the crowds at the top of some steps. We got another table being set up. So now we got Hook being hurled into a handrail. So Hook goes down. Preston standing over him. They're fighting over by the entranceway for the crowd where they kind of walk up the steps. Oh, now he's gone actually above it. Tony said this is so dangerous. I mean, it really is. So they're right by these railings, just above where the crowd kind of enter into the arena. So they're still fighting up there in the background. Jungle Boy is in the ring with Dralistico. Now they're coming back down again, though. Now they're coming back down. Seeing there's people, crowd members trying to get out the way. We got camera people around as well. Kick coming in there by Dralistico. We've still got some rope in the ring. Jungle Boy gets smashed in the face. Don't know where Preston and Hook have gone to. Preston had some of Fan's drink. Now we've got Dralistico climbing up. Jungle Boy holding on to the rope. Double stomp comes in. MJF does like to waffle on a little bit, says James. William said, chat, please keep comments focused on the show or Adam Cole. Do not direct comments onto one another. That is a boomer PSA. Right. We've got Hook on top of the railing, the barricade. He comes crashing down onto Preston with that chain in his hands. I believe we're going to picture-in-picture right now. And Hook chasing after. Oh, Preston Vance is busted open, man. Preston Vance is busted open. Blood pouring down the face of Preston Vance. Into the barricade goes Hook. Jungle Boy collides into Preston Vance. Oh, it's all happening. It's all happening. How'd you get Adam Cole in the phone box? Throw a tin of beans in, said Anthea Iontak. How'd you get Adam Cole in a phone box? Throw a tin of beans in. I like beans. Don't think I'd go in a phone box, though, for beans. No, I do like beans. Preston Vance has got a crimson mask, says WWE AEW fan. It is a lot of bloods. It is a lot of bloods. Ovian says, I rest my case. Ovian's case is rested. Right, we've got glad watching. I hate blood, said Maggie. Well, you would flipping hate this match because there is tons of it. It's dripping all over the floor. In fact, there's so much of it. Preston goes and actually flicks it onto Hook. Now he grabs the chain. Is dragging Hook onto the edge of the ring. I think I'd really like to hear Taz being really concerned here. This is his son. Taz just talking about weapons, violence, the match being unpredictable. I think I'd really like Taz to be really concerned. Shot coming in there by Jungle Boy. Hook grabbing Preston and plants him through a table. The one table breaks, the other one didn't. Oh, Jungle Boy planting Dralistico. One. Oh, just the one. I don't know who this is. Some Jose guy. Okay, so Dralistico planted on the outside. Preston Vance put through that table. Hook grabs Jose. Dralistico gets up. Drop toe hold by Jungle Boy. And that might do it. That'll surely do it. And they tippity tap, tap, tap. They tippity tap, tap, tap. Da, 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 da. Just enjoy wrestling. Sign. Enjoy wrestling. Enjoy wrestling. I wonder if that's their catchphrase. Just enjoy wrestling. We're just enjoy wrestling. Just enjoy wrestling sign. I feel like I've seen it before, in all fairness. But because I only just found out there is a promotion called Enjoy Wrestling, it hits a little different. Okay, so it's a win for Jungle Hook. Dream is going to be Jungle Hook against the Hung Bucks. That's my absolute dream match. What about if we put Hangman with Hook and we get Hung Hook? Hung Hook. What about if we get Hung Hook Bucks? So that would be Hangman, Hook, and the Young Bucks. Hung Hook Bucks. Hung Hook Bucks. What if one of the Bucks gets injured and then it's just one Buck and then it would be Hung Hook Buck? Here's Tony. Here's Tony. Here's Tony. Here he is. He looks excited. Talk about Forbidden Door. Before that, we launch a new series, Collision. Every Saturday night. Yep. First main event. Do it. Main event. Do it. Do it, Tony. Switchblades. Juice Robinson. Samoa Joe. Yeah. CM Punk. Don't do it for me. I mean, CM Punk's going to be in action. That's going to do it for some people, but... who cares who wins? I feel like you need a match where it matters who wins. I don't really care who wins that. I'm a bit surprised at that, to be honest. I really was expecting him to say Adam Cole against MJF. And of course, we also will be having CM Punk with his return. So, you know, I thought we'd do something like that. No. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look. I think there'll be some people that are into it. My first reaction is that, like, it's just, it's not a match that matters. Like, it doesn't matter who wins. I feel like if it was a championship match where we could see a title change or it was something along those lines, I don't know, I'd be interested. Let's get the video done, and then we'll do a poll, and we'll see what the reaction is. If people like it or think it's could have been better. Let's have a little look. Let's get this on here, and bang, bang, bang. So, breaking news coming out of AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan with his weekly announcement. Talking about AEW Collision, which, of course, premieres Saturday, June 17th. He was saying that they have now sorted out what the main event match for that first show is going to be. And so we've got the graphic, we've got the information. The first match is going to be this. It's going to be Samoa Joe, the Ring of Honor World TV Champion, Switchblade Jay White, and Juice Robinson taking on CM Punk and AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR. So that's our main event. It's a trios match. It's got a lot of star power. Certainly no denying that. It's going to be very interesting to see how people feel about this. We knew that CM Punk was already on that show. That had already been announced. So that certainly isn't the surprise. It might be a bit of a surprise that he's going to be competing straight away and that it's not just going to be a promo segment. So we know that CM Punk is going to be in action on that first episode. But as we said, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how people feel about this, if they like it, if they think it could have been a bit better, or is this just exactly what they were looking for? As we said, plenty of star power on display in this match. That is your main event for the debut Collision episodes. Boom. Right. Okay. So I can tell you that Takeshita has just picked up a squash win. Do you like the main event of Collision? Yes. I don't know. I'll just go yes, no. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I just think it could have been a bit stronger. Could have been a little bit taller. Could have been a baller. Could have been a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a baller. Right, Takeshita with the win. We got Don Callis in the ring. Might not want to hear it. Don Callis can't get a word in. Some of the heat here. I do like what they're doing with Takeshita. Everything Kenny Omega has in his life is because of me. Kenny beat Will Ospreay because of me. Everything Kenny has got is because of me. What do you do with cancer? You cut it out. Me and my family are going to cut the elite out of this company. Who's absolutely raining down for these two. Don Callis eats hot dogs without chewing sign. It's a great sign. Don Callis eats hot dogs without chewing. That is breaking news. Okay, so Takeshita with a squash win jumps out the ring, and we are done. Nice little promo from Don Callis. And the crowd certainly are not confused about how they feel about Don Callis, are they? There is no confusion there whatsoever. They are not fans. They are not fans. Right. Barely a pop for CM Punk. Back-to-back shows. It's been lukewarm. There's some mixed cheers and boos. I think the fan base is split. I think there's a lot of people that do blame him for all of the drama that went down. I mean, if you think about how this started, I mean, this is all elite wrestling. So the elite are very much at the heart of this company. And he went to war with the heart of the company. And so you are going to cause division. There is going to be split opinions. I think the one thing that AEW really does not need is it does not need its fan base to be divided. It needs a united fan base. So I think for the benefit of the company, like the fans need to very quickly just move on. So I don't think this lukewarm reaction that CM Punk's been getting from some of those disgruntled fans is helpful, to be honest. But listen, people feel how they feel, don't they? People feel how they feel. And there's some people that do blame him for what went down. Right. Tony Khan. Na 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 na. Tony Khan. Can I just show you a cute picture of Tony Khan? Because I know you're all sat there going, Daze, have you got a cute picture of Tony Khan? I'll be like, yeah. Well, that's a cute picture of Tony Khan. He looks good there. Giving the guy props. That's a nice jacket as well. It's a nice jacket. That is, honestly, it's a good look for TK. It's a good look. AEW Collision main event revealed. Tony Khan announcements made on AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan. There we go. I think you've seen enough of cute Tony. I think you've had enough of cute Tony Khan. Christian Cage is here. Double or nothing. Arn Anderson cost me the TNT Championship. Time for me to take something from you. Your son, Brock, got you a very nice early Father's Day present. That's nice. What did he get him? Brock, what did you get your dad? Stop lying on the floor, covered in blood. Apparently you got a nice present. Okay, so Brock Anderson laid out TBS Championship. Let's go. Time for the big guns. Austin! Let's go. Daisy's bullying Tony Khan. I'm not. I legit think he looks good. Oh, that's not that one. That one? No, not that one. Not that one. Oh, did it get rid of it? Honestly, I thought he genuinely looked good. Chris Statlander versus Anna Jay. Anna Jay in the ring. Anna Jay is with Daddy Magic. Austin said, I got rid of it since he's now at 1,000 days. I was going to put 1028, but YouTube won't let me as it didn't want to spell it out like I did 1,000 days. Here's Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander making her way down to the ring. We're getting some Daddy Magic, said Lone Star Friends. Well, I mean, look, we got half an hour to go. I don't think this match is going to take that long, to be honest. Here is Chris Statlander. More than a woman written on her robe. Do you remember when she was hanging around with Orange Cassidy? That was good. I like them two together. Okay, Anna Jay against Chris Statlander. TBS Championship. Statlander circling round. Anna Jay circling round. And they lock up. Side headlock takeover by Chris Statlander. Danhausen, very nice, very evil, buttoned up shirt available worldwide. Worldwide. Statlander again jumping onto Anna Jay. Ledge Killer, shout out to you. Ron said it's the normal time for the women's match on Dynamite. There's the picture. Oh my God, look at how cute Tony is. I thought he looked good. His pupils are so large. Oh, I didn't look at his pupils. Has he got large pupils in that picture? I don't know. He looks cheeky. He looks like he just did a little poop in the biscuit jar or something and then ran away. He looks cheeky, like, doesn't he? He looks like he knows something. He knows something. Well, he knows a lot of things that's going on in AEW, but I'm not trolling him. I think he looks good. I genuinely think he looks good. I like this blurry background and everything as well. It looks good. Anna Jay goes to the outsides. Statlander gets to the outside as Anna Jay goes into the ring. She does a lot of this, doesn't she? That's Anna Jay. That's my impression of Anna Jay. I could be Anna Jay. She goes for a kick, but gets planted down face first on the edge of the ring. Statlander rolls in. Kick to the head by Statlander. Against the ropes goes Statlander. Shoulder tackle. Anna Jay goes down. Shoulder up. Tony looks like he's kidnapped a child. Oh my God. Why won't it just keep on this? For some reason, my computer won't keep this picture. Perhaps my computer feels the exact same way. He looks more like a child to me that's just been told he's allowed to go around Michael Jackson's house. I don't know. It's... God bless him. The Iron Sheik passed away. It's very sad. I actually hate Tony Khan for making me now have to add a 17th show to the weekly list, says James. It's unreasonable. He didn't consider your viewing habits, did he? Okay, so Anna Jay hurls Chris Statlander into the corner. She goes down. Anna Jay takes a bow. Anna Jay's got her foot on the throat of Chris Statlander. 27 minutes to go. 27 minutes. Christopher said, I don't want to look at it anymore. Coach Co said, Michael Jackson. Knees to the back of Chris Statlander, who was draped over that middle rope. Daddy Magic shouting some words at Statlander, and I don't think they were positive. Don't think they were positive words at all. Against the ropes goes Statlander, and Anna Jay with a kick to the head. Statlander goes down. Smile on the face of Anna Jay. Going for the cover. 1, 2. Kick out by Statlander. Anna Jay gets to her knees, gets to her feet. Double axe handle. Down goes Statlander. Double axe handle again. Anna Jay grabbing Statlander, hurling her down. Going for the cover. 1, 2. Kick out by Statlander. Anna Jay grabbing Statlander. Looking for... Working the neck at the moment there. Yeah, I like... that's actually a good move by Anna. That's nice. And then into the net breaker. That was actually good. That could be a really good finishing move for her, actually. So she gets the opponent, turns them over, holds them, but holds them there. So normally you'd see them drop down, but she just held her there. And, you know, if she could start getting some sub wins with that, that would be pretty good. Forearm strikes coming in by Chris Statlander. Oh, no. Did that just happen during commercial break so people didn't even get to see it? Oh, guys, honestly, Anna Jay did something good. Oh, no one's going to believe me. She did something good. She did something good. She managed to get like this hold that I've not seen. It's like a swinging net breaker, but she just held Statlander there. And it's the kind of thing that you could see her get in submission wins against lower level talent. I don't know that she'd be picking up a win against... Well, I don't know. It depends how much you put it over. Depends how much you want to protect it and put it over. It was good. It was a good move. Shot coming in there by Anna Jay. Daddy Magic distracting. Now looking... Oh, plant Statlander down. Anna Jay going for the cover. 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by Statlander. Dana Brooke is here. Is she? Oh, man. Let's go. Let's go. Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke. Dana. All we are saying. Give Dana Brooke a chance. Right, Statlander charges over. Big boot there by Anna Jay. Statlander with a clothesline. We don't do politics. Okay? I'm just going to sell you this now. But I did just go to the BBC website. Roll up by Anna. Anna's in control. And one of the top stories now is Pence tears into Trump at 2024 campaign launch. Looks like there's a bit of tea. Because that was his vice president before, wasn't it? Don't worry, we're not getting into politics. I just saw that and I was like, oh, that's spicy. It's a little bit spicy. Statlander picks up the win. And still... Okay, so Taya Valkyrie is backstage. Watching on. Wonder what next for Jade now. Okay, so Anna Jay rolls to the outside. Statlander picks up the win. People in the chat saying Stat is fantastic. Statlander. On Rampage, Lucha Bros and Bandido take on Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, and Big Bill. Powerhouse Hobbs also in action for Rampage. Also, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass take on the Spanish Announce Project. What the hell is that? Britt Baker against Sky Blue, against Mercedes Martinez, against Nyla Rose. Can someone say Fatal 4-Way? The winner faces Tony next week. Okay. Ruby. We got Ruby and we've got Tony. There's no Soraya. Spanish Announce Project. What a name. The Spanish Announce Project. What a name. So, Britt Baker, Sky Blue, Mercedes Martinez, Nyla Rose, the winner of that will get to face Tony next week on Dynamite. The Mogul Embassy are taking on Darby Allin, Sting, Orange Cassidy. MJF takes on Adam Cole next week, but it's a title eliminator match. It's not for the title. It's a title eliminator match. Ugh. And then Collision coming up, of course, on June 17th. Samoa Joe, Jay White, Juice Robinson against CM Punk and FTR. Now we're talking about Forbidden Door. Kenny Omega against Will Ospreay. Bryan Danielson takes on Okada. Ricky Starks against Jay White coming up next. Main event time. Main events. Yuta has become a sports entertainment thug. Young Bucks are cringe. Who wins a dream match between the Spanish Announce Project and the Viking Experience? Wow. The fans. That's who wins. The fans. So, Jay White versus Ricky Starks. Is it Stark or Starks? Ricky Stark. Don't know. You can have that. There might be more. There might be a few of them. I preferred the Spanish Announce Table, said Erasure Minds. Well, that's where you're wrong. Danielson against Okada could be match of the year. I said it, said Rivy. Just wanted to say I enjoyed the OC match. Shame they muffed it up with the ending, said Aubrey Edwards. Hashtag 1000 Days Roman. Funko Pop Asylum said Tony Storm is so fake. Fake Storm. Zoom Station said title eliminator. What does that mean? Means you got to win the match to get a title shot. So, little bit of a shame that we're not going straight into him just getting a match, but whatevs. Adam said Iron Sheik passed away aged 81. Yep. Very sad. Jim said, I hope Naito is at Forbidden Door. Same here, buds. Same here. Spanish Announce Project is Serpentico, Luther, and Angelico. Days only 323 watch AEW. It must be putting people to sleep. Well, we know that this is not as, popular as Raw and SmackDown. It is closer, much closer in comparison to NXT than it is to either Raw or SmackDown. So, yeah, it is what it is. Chris is boring, said AB Jobson. Zoom title eliminator is AEW's strange way of saying it's a match, and if the challenger wins, they get a title shot. What is the main event of Collision? The main event of Collision is CM Punk, FTR, taking on Samoa Joe, Jay White, and someone else. Who is it? Samoa Joe, Jay White, who is it? I don't even know who it is. I've done a video on it. Jay White, Samoa Joe, Claudio? Is it? Can I? Have I got it? Have I got the thing? Tony, who was it? Who was it, Tony? Oh, there he is. Oh, look at his face. They should make little plush dolls of Tony that looks like that. Come on, people will tell me. Miro? No, it's not Miro. Juice. Do you know, I wouldn't have got it. I wouldn't have got there. Juice. Will we ever see Orange Cassidy and Juice Robinson in a tag team, and then we can call them Orange Juice? Come on, we got to do it. Just for that one flipping reason alone, we got to do it. Orange Juice. Here comes the Switchblade. His record is 5-0 in AEW. I appreciate AEW now always giving main events 15 minutes. Shots coming in by Ricky Starks, and we are underway with our main event. Let's go. In the words of Mario, this is going to be good. Right. Starks, shot to the midsection. Jumping Switchblade in the entranceway. Switchblade going into the ring. Days, that face Tony pulled was his exact reaction when he saw that SmackDown did 2.5 and Rampage did 3.57. Don't know, I think he'd be sadder than that. That looks like a flipping school picture. Looks like when you go to school and it's photo day for the yearbook or something. Bang. There we go. The home of the Stanley Cup final, TNT. Do not miss it, guys. Do not miss it. The Stanley Cup final. TNT. Right, so in the ring goes Jay White. We've still got Ricky Starks in control. Jay White goes to the outside. Ricky Starks comes round. Ricky goes back to the outside, grabs a hold of Jay. Chop coming in. It's mental, man, that this is Switchblade. Switchblade in the main event of AEW Dynamite. Comes over, tries to throw in a shot as Ricky Starks fires a shot back. Duck underneath by Ricky. Big back body drop there to Jay White. Ricky going to the outsides. He's having a little look underneath the ring. What's he looking for? What's he going for? Kick coming in by Ricky. Tony said they're going to welcome CM Punk back at the United Center. There is no doubt about that. Ricky flipped over some steps. I don't know if he accidentally clipped someone or caught someone. Jay's going up the entrance ramp. Terry Funk started wrestling. The Undertaker was born, says Factbot. Factbot. Ooh. Factbot is running because Kojiko walked. Right, here we go. We've got a suplex on the entrance stage. Ricky Stark with a knee to Jay White, knee to the midsection. My prediction is El Phantasmo will be a part of Bullet Club Gold at the end of the show, says Kieran. Shots coming in there by Jay White. We've had over 200 votes in our poll. What do you think? Honest opinions, please. Honest opinions. Do you like the main event of Collision? It's been announced. Do you like it? Are you a fan of it? It's got a lot of star power. CM Punk, FTR, Jay White, Samoa Joe, Juice Robinson. I remembered. What's your thoughts? Well, I haven't seen the results, so we'll get to it when we get to the end of the show. Okay, so Jay White with those ring steps. Bryson said CM Punk getting a pop because of his hometown, not because they like him. Trini, Keisha, Black Barbie. Could be a better name. They've not done any PTR to a car crash. Only appearance start out if you get me. Trini, I hope you're well. Hope you're well, mate. Picture in picture. 10 minutes left to go as both guys are on the outsides. Okay, we've got Ricky grabbing Jay, chucking him into the ring. Crowd a little quiet here for this. He is looking under the ring. He's spending so long looking under the ring. What's he after? He's grabbed a chair. I think he's allowed a chair, is he? The referee's like, you're not allowed this. Ricky has spent about 2 years looking for something under the ring. He finally gets something, and then the ref's like, you're not allowed that. I'm gonna take this. Is that all right? Because, by the way, there's rules. So, and that's that. That's that. Jay White picking up Ricky, planting him on the edge of the ring. So Ricky goes into the ring. Jay White goes after him. Trini, shout out to you. Days, there are 4 former WWE stars in the main event of Collision. Yes. FTR, CM Punk, Samoa Joe. And Jay White's awesome. And actually, Juice Robinson's awesome. So there is a lot of awesome people in that match. Let's go, Ricky. Let's go. I think it's let's go, Ricky. Let's go, Jay. Right. On the outside of the ring still, we've got 8 minutes left to go. Justin said, everyone talks about Roman Reigns' 1,000 days, but no one is talking about Strowman's 1,867-day reign, says Justin. What? 1,860. Educate us. CS Dub said, Days, imagine if CM Punk turns on FTR at the end of Collision and joins Bullet Club Gold. What would be your thoughts? I would be shocked. That would be my thoughts. I would be like, that's how I would be. Well, someone would have to tell me it's happened first. And then I'd be, and also I wouldn't understand it because CM Punk is going to be the leader of any group he's in, but is that not going to overshadow Jay White? These AEW fans don't get Jay White. Do you remember when he did a post-match attack and the crowd was silent? I do remember. People forgetting Juice Robinson was in WWE. That's true. He didn't make it to the main roster, though, did he? But he was still in WWE. What was he called? Was he CJ Parker? Chop coming in. If Tony Khan doesn't book Omega, books Collision is meaningless, says Carlos. Strowman from the Greatest Royal Rumble. Well, I don't think that's a belt that gets defended, to be honest. I think that's more just he won the Rumble and it's a prize he got for it. So I don't think that's like a title reign. It's not a belt that's defended. So it's a bit like winning well, it's just like winning the Rumble. Only in Saudi Arabia they gave him a belt for doing it. So I don't know. I can't count that. That's why Punk's on Collision. They're keeping them apart. CJ Parker. I remember he was around when I first started watching, and he wasn't really grabbing loads of attention. He had a weird little gimmick, actually. Trying to crawl over, trying to get the cover. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Ricky Stark. That was a big superplex. Big superplex by Jay White. If we're counting that belt for Braun, then we have to acknowledge Shane as the best in the world, says Trini, and I just can't. You have to. You have to. It makes me so angry hearing Okada and Danielson talking about and arguing about who's the best in the world when we all know that it's Shane McMahon. Shots coming in by Ricky Starks, and it is Starks, by the way, with an S. Knee to the midsection. Starks goes over in the corner. No one cares about Punk. What's he going to do? Feud with Samoa Joe? It's ridiculous, says Carlos. Big Time said, how to differentiate SmackDown, Raw, NXT. If you're watching all shows, you are a hardcore WWE fan. Shoulder up. I don't know what you mean. Justin said, I got sent to HR instead of Lady in Red. I was singing Lady Named Fred. Huh? You were singing Lady Named Fred and you got sent to HR? The world's gone mad. Tony Khan needs a faction like Vince McMahon's Stooges. I tell you, he doesn't need a flipping faction. He needs a calendar. That's what he needs. That is February right there. I look at that, I think Valentine's Day. That's what I think. You imagine a line of AEW Valentine's cards and the front cover is that picture. And maybe at the bottom it just says, I want to snort you or something. I don't know. But either way, you know, it'd be a top seller. Oh, Uranagi. Look at that, man. That Uranagi was sick from Jay White. That Uranagi was sick. A Ricky Bottom. A Ricky Bottom. I mean, it was Jay White that did it, but he got dropped on his Ricky Bottom. Chop coming in there by Ricky Starks. Another chop coming back by Switchblades. It coming in. Chop coming in. Knife edge. Jay White goes over. Ricky Starks stuck underneath against the ropes. Oh! For a spear, but Jay White kicked him in the head. Oh dear. Ricky Starks, though, reverses that. Looked like for a Blade Runner against the ropes. Spear, there's the spear. If at first you don't succeed, you try and try again. He tried a spear. He got kicked in the head. He goes for a second spear. Connects that time. He's got him. Oh, no, the ref's down. The ref's down. Ricky going for the cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ref's still down, but it's not going to count. Is this the Gun Club? Are the Gun Club going to join the Bullet Club? That's a good addition. That's a good addition. Gun Club into Bullet Club. That's good. That's good. So you've got Gun Club that can go after the tag belts. You've got Juice Robinson that can go after the TNT. And you've got Jay White that can go after the world. I like that. I like it. Ricky gets planted. I like it. 2, 3. Yeah. Gun Club in Bullet Club. I'll take that. It's a nice little group, isn't it? Juice Robinson. There's Juice. Juice Robinson. Juice coming down. Juice Robinson. Switchblade, Jay White, and the Gun Club. I like it. He's got spittle on his face. As says, this has been a great show, and he starts applauding. MJF is better than you, and you know it. Jay White gets the win. Crowd is dead for these guys. I don't know. It's a real shame, man. They're good. You'd think you'd think this would be right up their street as well. You'd think they'd be absolutely lapping this up like a cat. Crowd is going Richter, not Guns in Bullet Club, or maybe not. Where are they? They ran away, didn't they? They ran off. Boring Club, says 904. Bullet Club for life, says Tahil. Oh, we got extra. We've got extra. That's what's happening live. Look. Look at this. You can't see it on TV, but this is what's happening. Down. And he's pointing at his bum. And he's nodding his... Oh, we got some extra though, didn't we? We were eating good there for a minute. Eating good. All those little secret things you don't normally see. Do you see that? It was like, yeah, look at my bum. Yeah. And they were starting to take the ring down already. They ain't messing around, are they? Places to be. Do you know what I mean? TGI Fridays closes in an hour. We need to go. Oh. Overrun. Sending the fans home happy. Trini said, no score for me because I didn't actually pay full attention, so it wouldn't be fair. Maggie said, I'm disgusted. I was rooting for Ricky. Spittle Club. Ah, that's the best club. Spittle Club. Dave's got that TV pass. Yeah, boy. Why did they stop it once he pointed to his bum? Don't know. Haters. They're all Jamie haters. That's the problem. They're all Jamie haters. It's me, Blaze, says WrestleSense Podcast. Is it you, Blaze? I'm not sure I believe it. Orange Cassidy needs to get out of my life, says... I'll let him know. We got a 1 second overrun. Yes. Get in your scores. We've had over 250 votes as well. Over 250 votes. And I need to have a look, see what people are saying. Do you like it? They do. They do like it. So 250 votes, not a bad little sample size. 63% say yes, I do like that main event of Collision. And 36% of people are like, nah, it could be better. So that was over 252 votes. That's not a bad little sample size. Gives us a bit of a read. Jim said, I still remember WCW Valentine's Day cards with Raven. Who thought a Raven Valentine's Day card was a good idea? I don't know, but I'd love one. Is it me or not? Watch and find out. Thanks for the plug. Yeah, but I don't know who I'm plugging. So this could be Blazed Radio, or it could be WrestleSense Podcast pretending to be Blazed Radio, and I don't know what's happening. I don't know who to believe. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where the truth is anymore. Jordan says 6. Ribby said 635. Funko Pop Asylum says 7. I didn't even say that right. Funko Pop Asylum. What did I say? Funko Pop Asylum. Funko Mop Asylum. Funko Pop Asylum says 7. 420 Benton said 6. Bryson says 7. Boomers said 3 out of 5. Loopy Girl, shout out to you, says 7. AB Jobson said 775. Rivy says Nevermore. Cool. I don't know what I also got in my head is Paramore. I don't know why. I've read that and all I can think is Paramore. Nevermore. Paramore. Good bands. Tahil said 6.5. 7 said Joe. 635 said Rivy. 7 says Meave. 7 said Adoring Fan. 7 says Greg. James said, or no one cares who it is. Or maybe they do. Maybe they don't. We'll never know. Why would anyone pretend to be Blazed Radio? He's a weirdo. Oh, okay, well, Blaze Radio wouldn't say that. I know Blaze Radio. He's got more respect for himself than to come on the internet and say that he's a weirdo under a different account. So that makes me think you're not Blaze Radio. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this feud is right here. Right? I feel like I've stumbled into some beef. I don't want no part of it. I like Blaze Radio. It is in my good books, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not picking sides. I'm just saying I like Blaze Radio. 6.5 says let him in. James said 7.5. Funko Pop Asylum said I just met Kane on Sunday and I'm meeting MJF in August. Let him in said 6.5. Robert says 6.5. Now Blaze Radio's here now. Blaze Radio said yes. Blaze Radio would say that. Oh, now I'm even more confused. I did say that. Oh my God. Bring it on, Mr. WrestleSense podcast. Oh, it's kicking off. It's kicking off. Team Blazed or Team WrestleSense. The battle lines have been drawn. I'll tell you what else has been drawn as well. What else has been drawn is the end of this show, the end of this podcast. I have to run away because I need to go to bed because I am off to London town, baby. So I've got a busy day tomorrow. But appreciate the support. Hope everyone enjoyed AEW. Those scores are pretty good. So I think people enjoyed it. And don't forget, we are back on Friday. So we'll be doing the SmackDown watch along, of course, and heading towards UFC at the weekend. I could probably do with setting that stream up, actually. But yes, appreciate the support as always, guys. Have a great evening wherever you are, and I will see you.